Okay, good morning, everybody. Welcome to today's open forum. Today we have a couple of things we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about some of the what's going on with the market, some of the new things that they're trying to do with lending and trying to open things up. But first, we have Chris here from Reminder Media. Guys, as you guys know, part of being a part of a 100% brokerage like you guys are is that we want you to pretend that we took 20 or 30% and spend that money on growing your business, reconnecting with your sphere of influence, mining for return from your previous customers, referrals, etc. So today we want to bring Chris in. Every 6 months or so, the guys from Reminder Media come in and talk to you guys about your sphere, your most important customers, keeping in touch with them and spending your marketing dollars in the best way possible. So, Chris, please join us.
Perfect. Can you hear me okay, Ryan?
I can hear you, but I can't see you.
All right, let me get my camera on and share my screen for you. Yes, and where's my camera? Where's the camera button? Sorry about that.
All right, guys. Thank you, Chris. I'll let you take over.
All right, perfect. Can you see me okay?
Yes.
All right, sounds good. So good morning, everybody. My name is Chris Real, and I'm one of the trainers here with Reminder Media. I just want to thank you all for giving me a few minutes of your time today. I know we have about 10 agents in program right now with us. So for the sake of time, I'm not going to rattle off everybody's name, but if you are here and using us or even have used us, I definitely want to thank you for the business that you've given us. So I'll try to be quick for everyone. The way our concept works, there's a lot of data from NAR that you can look at. We like to focus on a few key points here. First one shows you that 81% of homeowners go with the first agent that they interview. And then we always track buyers and sellers from year to year. You're going to see last year, the year finished with 65% of sellers, 56% of buyers finding their agent from a referral, or they use an agent that they already had a relationship with. Now, I'll tell you, each year, when the year ends, these percentage points, they just fluctuate within a few points of each other. So we'll see how this year ends up. But the one thing I'm going to tell you, folks, why I know we work. We've been in business 20 years. We have an 80% retention rate with agents that try us. But we also have our own real estate team as well. It's called Akery Brothers Realty. They're just a small team of 5 in Lynchburg, Virginia. Last year, they did 260 transactions. This year, they're on pace for 320. 50% of these are coming from referrals. The only referral tool they use is our magazines. And that's really the engine that drives our platform. What these are geared to do is keep you connected to your database, as Ryan indicated a second ago. Past clients in your sphere or any hot prospects that you're nurturing on a personal level to drive repeat and referral business. Now, American Lifestyle is our flagship. It's all general interest. It's got leisure, art, travel, design, and recipes. Start Healthy, general health and wellness. There's Mind and Body, basic fitness and exercise. Recipes are all healthy. And then the articles throughout are like how to detox your body, foods that'll boost your immunity, benefits of drinking a half a gallon of water a day, things like that. Now, this third one is called Good to Be Home. This is my personal favorite. My wife is a realtor here in Pennsylvania, so it's the one I use for her. It's all real estate and home design content. Tips to increase the value of your home, how to stage your house if you want to sell it, things that'll make your moving day easier. There's seasonal maintenance stuff, and then a ton of different decorating tips and concepts for inside and outside the home as well. The business in action, if you ever work with small business owners or investors, this is the one that they're going to gravitate towards. Now, you can alternate, though, between these magazines as much as you like. So you always have options. To give you a visual perspective, if you haven't seen us before, Architectural Digest or Southern Living, if you've seen either of those, we look and feel exactly like they do. It's a high gloss cover, 48 pages of full color, but it's got that nice heavier paper too, not that clipper stuff. The number one thing everybody loves, very easy to customize and maintain. So the content, we take care of that, but you're going to have these spots to customize. I'm going to start with this front cover. Picture, contact info, and logo are here. Top corner says compliments of you. And for each magazine, for each edition, there's about 15 different covers to choose from, okay? Now, when you look at this inside cover, again, branding is here, but there's also a letter here you could tailor to the client. 2 ways to do the letter. If you're a plug-and-play person like myself, in the portal that we give you, we have letters already drawn up that you can pick from to save yourself time. Whichever letter you pick, they're still going to be individualized. They still say Dear Bill and Judy, not Dear Valued Client or Resident, which I know everybody hates. And if you want to edit the letter to make it your own, say you want to scrap a paragraph or two, add some of your own words, you can do that. But the other option, you can write the entire letter yourself. Also life events. How do you all address life events for your clients? Birthdays, newborn babies, things like that. Say one of your clients had a life event, a milestone birthday, a newborn baby, and you just want to specifically address that just to them in their magazine, you can do that as well. Now, we also give you these 2 tarot cards, which I call the ultimate business card. So again, on one side, you'll see branding. On the other side, we have a lot of options you can put on the back. Now, what we found that works the best over the years is recipes, but recipes might not be your thing. We got motivational quotes, there's trivia games, there's do-it-yourself projects for the home, health and fitness stuff. So, I mean, any subject matter that you think of, it'll be there. But if you do have something special that you would like on the back, let us know. We'll do that for you too. For example, being in Florida, say you want to put any of the professional or college sports team schedules that everybody follows in your area. We can do things like that. And then what you're seeing here, folks, is the outside back cover, but we also give you the entire inside back cover as well. So again, in the interface, we give you a lot of real estate template ads that you can pick from. But one thing that agents love with the back cover, you can put your listings and recently solds here as well. So anytime you have a listing, if you want to feature it in the magazine, you can do that. Say there's no current listings at the time, but you want to showcase different houses that you've been able to find and sell for people, the recent transactions, that's another option for you too. Then this QR code, this is a new wrinkle that we added about 7 months ago. I'm going to come back to this in a second for you. One last thing with the back cover, though, is you can sell it. This is your magazine. You own it. If you want to co-brand and team up with any vendors, a lender, an attorney, contractor, title company, any vendor that you know to offset the cost, you could do that. Some agents will pick one vendor, give them the entire space, but other agents, as you see here, have multiple vendors. And then the one thing I want to highlight for you is why this works. There's a lot of marketing things out there we can do. I broke this down into 2 sections. Look to the left, you got your dinners, bottles of wine, gift cards, and baskets. Great closing gifts, right? But these aren't cost effective. If we try to do these consistently for everyone over a long period of time, we're going to end up working for free. On the right, though, very cost effective. You got the newsletters, you got flyers and postcards and emails. Now, I don't want to beat this stuff up either, because I think to an extent, everything can serve a purpose. But at the end of the day, you do want to maximize your shelf life in the home. Think about yourself. You're all in sales, but you're still consumers. You buy cars, you buy furniture, you buy jewelry. You're going to go home tonight and you're going to grab your mail. Say somebody sends you a postcard or a newsletter. 99% of the time, after you look at that, where does it end up? And if you're like me, it will not make it past your mailbox. So I call this stuff lottery marketing. If the numbers don't match that day for something specific you're looking for, you're throwing out the tickets. And that's the number one reason why agents use us. We get you onto the coffee table. This will serve as a visual reminder that you value their relationship. So I always say it's like a mini billboard in the home. By 20 years doing it, our average shelf life is 2 months. So to keep it top of mind at all times, it's going to make you look fabulous, of course. But the most important thing, in my opinion, this gives you an excuse to reach out and just check in with these people periodically throughout the year. See how they're doing, what they thought of the magazines. Maybe they tried some recipes and things that are in there, which I can promise you they all do, especially around the holidays and New Year. But at the end of that call, you can really feel comfortable and remind them that you need referrals. Ask them who they know that'll love the magazine like they do, that you can introduce yourself to, that'll be buying or selling in the upcoming markets. And I'll tell you, we're running these focus groups last year and this year. The agents that are in them, they're only sending out our minimum 50. As long as they're making the follow-up calls after the magazines hit and asking for them, we're tracking a 31% referral rate. So it's pretty good there. Now, that's the nurturing side of this. There is a prospecting side too. So what I always do for my wife is I send 15 magazines to us. I have a bio letter about her in the front, testimonials in the back, and then we put them in local businesses, both our doctors and our dentist, our hair and nail salon, my barbershop, and our pediatrician. I leave one in the waiting room on the table, like a fishing line, because the people that don't look at their phones, they're going to flip through magazines when they're waiting to be serviced. The rest of them, you can hold on to. So when you do go out on listing appointments, have open houses, or say you're at an event, use them as a first impression piece instead of just a business card, because they'll really add validity to your brand when you meet somebody new for the first time as well. So the magazines can be customized different ways. They hit different campaigns of your business in each batch. So it's not just like a one-trick pony per se, okay? And then just going back to that QR code that you saw a minute ago, 7 months ago, we rolled out these custom landing pages that will give you, that'll capture people's info. Now, there's a few to choose from. The one I use, it's a CMA tool. So I have a QR code in the front and back of her magazine. It says, if you're thinking about buying or selling, scan this to see what your house is worth. Now, when I leave them in these places, people scan it, takes them to the page, captures their info, but then it gives them back the internet value to their home. Now, we know the internet's always off with their estimates one way or another. She'll follow up, start chatting with them, see what they're looking to do. She'll give them the full CMA. to show them what their house is really worth. And since we've done this, she's already got a listing and 2 buyers out of it. So we're getting great testimonials across the board from the agents about it. And then the last thing I want to show you before I show you our last slide, which is our numbers, we have an AI program, excuse me, that came out almost a year and a half ago. It's called Target Follow-Up. Now, what this does, it'll take every name and address you have. It runs it through these predictive analytics, even down to what people click on and look up on Facebook and Google. But it can also identify if they went to websites like Zillow or Realtor.com. And then it scores your database from first to last, telling you who the most prime targets that'll buy or sell in the upcoming months based on those analytics and social media behavior. It's getting a ton of our agents now in front of these people at the right time when they're clicking on stuff for themselves, family, and friends that the agents didn't know they were doing so before. So just to give you an example, there's no cap on the amount of names that we can run through it, but we'll use 100 as a round number. When we score it, it doesn't score 1, 2, 3, 4 down to 100. It'll put them in brackets. First bracket says very likely to move. The next one says likely to move, then neutral, and it'll continue down. What we found out over the last year, though, is that 1 out of every 4 people that are ending up in the very likely and likely to move brackets as an average are converting into transactions for the agents. So it's pretty good numbers there, too. It's 25% conversion rate. So the next slide I have, which is going to be the incentives that we have going on right now. But before I get into the numbers, any questions on the concept itself? No? Okay. All right. So what we're doing, folks, for the new year is just offering a one-time mailing to start. So if you like what you see, you can try this once. There's no contract. And that way, get it out, get it in people's hands. And if you like it and you do want to continue like the rest of the agents in the office have, that's definitely our goal. Now, if you did it once and thought, hey, this isn't for me, there is no obligation. We'll shut it right down. The way the pricing works, price per magazine is only $4.99 a piece. It includes everything, all your printing, all customizations, and your postage and handling. So, if you boil this down, it's cheaper than most Hallmark cards out there these days in the store. Our minimum is just $50. Comes out to $249.50. Now, you don't have to pay this up front. When the magazines print and ship, that's when you'll pay for them. But you can pick when they go out. So we have what's called a rolling deadline every Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Every agent picks their own deadline. So there's deadlines running all through November and December for this new year edition. Okay, and then the only other fee that we have, it's a one-time activation to get going. Normally, it's $299. When we do these presentations, we knock $200 off. It's $99 to start. This is a one-time fee, covers you for life. You pay it once, you never pay it again. It does go to 2 things. One, you get your own marketing advisor who's going to be your assistant, and they do all the work for you. So the only job that you need to do is get your stuff to them, like whether your photos, your list of people, testimonials, whatever you want in there from your side. Then other than that, it's about 10 minutes on the phone with them. You're going to design the magazines, pick covers, recipes, the ads. They're going to do all the heavy lifting, the technical, and the mailing for you. So we try to take all the work off your plate. And then my favorite thing about us is that we do work off exclusivity. So as competitive as the market is down there and how many agents, I know Florida's got a ton of agents in the area, but we work off exclusivity. The names and addresses that you send these to, you own them. So if another realtor from another brokerage jumps on board and they're trying to get their foot in the door with any of your contacts, we do not let them. We make them take their names off. So this will truly differentiate you from the rest of the pack out there. Your contacts are always protected. And that's it, folks. There's no other fees, no hidden costs. Your price per magazine will never change on you. And when you do get the first one out, you're going to have a few months to see the impact it has and how well it works. There's no auto enroll. We'll follow up with you. And if you like it, like I said, we'd love for you to continue like the rest of the agents have. If not, we'll shut it right down. And then on the frequency side of it, on how often they would go out, you have 2 options. The normal rotation is once every other month. So it's 6 times a year. But if you need something less, we also have a quarterly option where you can just do it once a quarter, once a season. Okay, so that would really be up to you and what you feel best fits your clients. I do have one special thing I want to do for everybody as well. But before I throw that at you, any questions on the pricing? No? Okay. Hey, easiest webinar I did in weeks, so I'll take it. So, all right, let me do this right. I'm gonna bring a QR code up here, folks. When I've done a few of these presentations for Ryan in the past, and this is something I've always done, and a lot of people have taken advantage of it when I've done it. So I'm gonna do it again for everyone. Being one of the trainers here, I do not get to follow up and call through offices like a lot of our sales execs that do these webinars. But I would love to gain some more traction in the offices. So if you're interested in trying this, you can scan this, just fill it out. Your info will come over to me. I will take care of the first 15 magazines for anybody that wants to do this for your trial for the new year to offset the setup. So it'll be a $74 credit I'm going to put in there for you when the magazine ship. Instead of $249, you will only pay $174. So I'll take care of the first 15 for everybody who wants to give it a shot to offset your sell. Okay. And then that is all I got.
All right, guys. So Chris and Reminder have, several of you guys have used them before. I don't know if any of you are on here. I know Kathy's using them right now. A lot of you guys have used them in the past with great results. So I know a lot of you still use them. I don't know how many of those people are on this call right now, but I know you guys have used them before. They probably didn't come because they didn't need to hear it again. But you guys have used them before, and they've been, that's why I keep having them on, because I've heard nothing but great things on the return on investment. So just letting you guys know that. You don't have to do anything right now, but please get Chris's information and talk to him about this. I've seen these work. That's why we keep having Reminder here.
Perfect. And Ryan, if it's okay with you, when I stop sharing, I'll just hang around for a second in case anybody wants to ask any questions in the chat. But I'll put my cell phone number in the chat for everybody too, if that's okay. And that way, if they want to shoot me a text, you can always do that as well.
That's more than okay. That's exactly what I'd like you to do. And they will. That happens every time. And they get a little shy on the call here, but they'll reach out to you.
Okay, perfect. I really appreciate your time and having us. So thank you so much, everybody.
All right. Well, thank you, Chris.
All right, thanks. All right, no problem. Let me stop sharing for you, and then I'll put everything in the chat. There you go.
All right. Awesome, guys. So do you guys have any FRI things you want to ask me before we get into the deal here? So I put up there before, I don't know if you guys saw it. Next Friday, we're having a Thanksgiving potluck thing at our corporate office. You guys are all invited. And I will be sending that out by email as well, because it's got to sign up for anything you want to bring for potluck. Carolina, you have a question?
Oh, never mind, because it says continuous chat is off, but I see the telephone number. I just got it. Never mind. Thanks.
Awesome. You bet. Vivian.
Hello, I am so sorry. I was emailing people yesterday because I forgot it was Veterans Day. No disrespect at all intended. When I was writing the offer for the Tampa listing, I saw that I had to check off the box that said seller financing rider on the addendum list at the end, but I couldn't find it inside the paperless pipeline. Is that something I have to go elsewhere to get?
What exactly was it? Addendum for what?
Seller financing rider, and it's actually noted inside the contract I'm supposed to have that.
Yeah, it's on the transaction desk, which you have through MLS.
Oh, okay.
It better be.
I'll check.
Let me look it up right now. Yep, seller financing. Yep.
Okay, I'll go there. Okay.
There's one for Crisp and one for any far bar. You're good. Okay. Without any other questions just yet, I will get into the new stuff happening and the excitement of it. Is it exciting or is it not? Well, so is it exciting? It's exciting that the government's trying to do something to help the market. The actual 50-year fixed mortgage. I'm going to share the screen. And well, first of all, let's talk about, I'm going to share my screen, and here I am on AI again. So let's talk about how the 50-year works, et cetera, right? So, well, let's talk about first what they can do. So the White House has said that we're going to start offering a 50-year thing. Now, they can do that with the government loans. From my understanding, they can go ahead and do that. They run the government programs. It's all under the executive branch, so they can do that. To do it for conventional loans, not FHA or VA, that's what I'm talking about, guys, government-backed loans. They can go ahead and do that. But for conventional banks to do this, they're going to need to make some adjustments on the Dodd-Frank Act and all that stuff. It's got to go through Congress. So they're not sure they can do it. there's going to be some pushback, obviously, which we'll go over what that will be. But I do think it's a good sign that people are trying to help get the real estate market going. We have a problem in this country of affordability of homes, and I'm going to share this instead. This tab real quick. Realtors just sent this out. Florida Realtors just sent this out this morning. 71% of aspiring homeowners are postponing major life steps, including marriage, children, and career changes until they can afford a home. Now, I am very analytical, and I looked at this 71%, and a lot of it's the same people doing the same thing. So I don't think that's accurate at all. I think that's a terrible thing that they derived from this survey. So I just don't think it's accurate. A majority of aspiring homeowners are delaying at least one major life decision, getting married, having children, career changes, and even pet ownership until they can afford to buy a home of their own. Okay. Nearly 1 in 5 are delaying marriage or having children until they can afford to buy a home. That's 18%. But a lot of these are the same people. So 18%, 17%, 16%, and 15%. You can't just add them up. A lot of them are the same people who are also putting off different things, right? They're putting off marriage and having kids, or putting off marriage and changing jobs and all this. They're putting off their life while they still live with mom and dad, obviously, right? Some of them. And then you'll find out later they did. It's a really interesting article to read, just because it's kind of it shows the dilemma that we have with unaffordable housing. I don't know if you guys have seen this, but the average age of new home buyers, 20 years ago or something, was 28 first-time home buyers, and now it's close to 40. It's like 39. So a lot of this stuff, 84% are willing. Okay, so they surveyed, let's go to the bottom. They surveyed 3,068 people. Only 885 are aspiring homeowners that don't currently own a home but would like to someday. So this is only those 885 people, and only people who don't own a home and want to. So it kind of goes into here what they are. 84% are willing to make concessions, such as taking a side job, buying a less ideal home. You guys, these are the people you guys work with all the time. Buying a less ideal home for something smaller, or fixer up, or moving to a lesser area. That's what we do with first-time home buyers typically anyway. So 84% are willing to do that, but almost 100% have to. They're not going to buy your dream home on your first home. 36% have considered co-buying with family to afford home ownership, including 63% of Gen Z and 49% of millennials who are a little older than Gen Zs. 33% have thought about co-buying with a non-romantic partner like a friend or coworker. Okay. That's just considered, thought about. We think about lots of stuff, right? 19% of Gen Z and 14% of millennials have already moved in with parents or in-laws to save to buy a home. That's pretty common, right? Okay. So what this says, though, is that lots of people want to buy homes and just can't. And that's pretty much the bottom line. So that's what the problem is. The answer is in lots of places, but this is not the answer. 50-year mortgage is not the answer, but it is something to lower pay. The problem is that the payments are too high. 50-year will lower it, assuming that you're going to be able to refinance at a lower rate before you do this 50 years, which we'll get into in just a second. Okay, so how much does it save you on a typical $400,000 loan? $400,000 is about our median home price now. Obviously, most loans aren't $400,000, then they'd be $360,000 or $380,000 or something like that. But let's take a look. A 30-year mortgage on a $400,000 loan, just principal and interest, this does not include taxes and insurance, would be $2,400. That would be your payment. We'll get into the total interest, et cetera, as we go.
Did you want to share that part of your screen or no?
Oh, I'm sorry, guys. Sorry, I didn't share it back. Yes, I did very much want to share it. Thank you, Tammy. Okay. Here we go. Sorry about that. I was just scrolling through it like you guys can see it. $400,000 loan amount. Here's your $2,398, $2,400. Okay, at 6%. I did these at 6%. And I did them equally at 6%, although that's not going to be the case. But I did them, most likely, I did them equally at 6%. So here's, how much would you save? $250 a month. All right. $2,150 instead of $2,400, $250 a month. So it had to be somebody pretty close to qualifying that would be interested in this loan to start with, right? 30 years at 50 years total. Look at your interest on this one. Total paid $863,000 over 30 years, 1.3 million over 50 years. Now nobody's keeping a 50-year mortgage. Nobody even finishes a 30-year hardly anymore. But you see the point. What we're really concerned about is the first several years, 5 to 10 years, even 2 or 3 years until they can get out of this loan into a better rate, hopefully, right? Or they can afford a better rate. That is why they're having to do some work on this Dodd-Frank thing, because this thing can be burdensome for people if they had to keep it a long time. 50-year, I mean, they'd still be able to make the payments. It would take a long time to get anywhere, right? A 50-year mortgage lowers your monthly payment by about $250 a month. However, you'll pay $424,000 because you're paying on it for 20 more years. It's worth considering if cash flow flexibility outweighs long-term cost. That's the bottom line. It's only worth considering if cash flow flexibility outweighs long-term cost. This is the only way you can get into a house because of the payment, or you really think you can only afford this for now, but you'll be able to afford it more later, and you think interest rates are going to come down, etc. Right? I mean, I think we all know a year from now, interest rates will be lower than they are now. I think we all feel that way. I can't imagine a scenario in which it's not, but at least the same. But we'll see. Okay, we're going to do the table here in a little bit, but let's please do it again with a 50-year loan at 6.3%. So they're saying it's going to be higher interest rate probably, because it is more risky that someone pays for 50 years than if they pay for less, or that the market could dump before then, or whatever, right? So let's compare a 30-year mortgage at 6%, 50-year mortgage at 6.3 on the same loan. Here we go. Let's get back to this. Obviously, we know the 2398 doesn't change, but this one goes up. So now you're only saving, it should break it down here, you're only saving $170 a month. So it reduces it by a little bit, but not a lot. Only $170 a month, and you're going to pay even more in interest. Yes, please show me an amortization chart. So here you go. Here's your balance over time. So let's look at this chart. You see after 10 years, I don't know how to get Ask GPT off there. After 10 years, what your mortgage balance would be. On here, it's 300 and what's probably 390 still, 385 still. And in 10 years, at a regular 30-year loan at 6%, after 10 years, you're down to 335 probably. So about $50,000. You can see it's about $50,000 difference in where you would be in 10 years. Making a little bit smaller payment, but barely touching, as you guys know, you paid mostly interest at first, barely touching the principal at all. And that's the bottom line. That's the part that concerns people. And that is the negative to this. The positive is saving the $250 a month or $180 a month or whatever it would be. But the bad part is that you're barely eating your loan. So that is the concern. That's what you'll hear people saying about this is bad for consumers, et cetera. And it's only bad if you choose to do it. And it's only bad if it's only good if it gets you into a house that you wouldn't normally be able to get into. All right. Someone had their hand up and then they took it down, I guess. All right. Do you guys have any questions on that? And these are
Thank you for the chart. It really helps to see it visually as well as hear it. Thank you.
Well, you can thank AI for that, but you're very welcome. I just hit the button. It asked me, actually, do you want to see that? I do pay $20 a month for this. This is the fancy version, but you get the same thing without it. Tammy.
I tell them to go get a second job for $250 a month difference. It doesn't make any sense.
They might already have a second job, Tammy.
Oh, that's true.
I mean, these are people. I mean, you see all the people in this thing that, well, I'm not going back to that, but you see all the people in that article I just told you, 80% of them would be willing to get a second job to be able to afford a home or something like that. So, I mean, these are people who can barely qualify, and it may make a bigger difference with a bigger loan or a smaller difference with a smaller loan, but also think about them also as well, it's going to be a little bit lower too because they're FHA and VA right now. So the rates are going to be, instead of 6 and 6.25 or whatever, that I mean, I'm just throwing numbers out there. They said it would be a little bit higher. I ran it yesterday. So this isn't the first time I run this. I ran it yesterday at 6.5 and it pretty much didn't make any sense at all. So it can't be that much higher. What that tells me is they can't make it that much higher or they just won't do it, which they've already looked into. Obviously they've already looked into, well, the government's going to back them, but then they've got to sell them too. Right. So they've already looked into that. Will people buy these at 6.25? Will people buy them at 6%? And who knows is the answer. Rates appear to be going down. So I think they would sell them right away. But, you know, and these people, they may refinance in 2 years, 1 year, you know, whatever makes sense for them. But if they want to get in now while the prices are lower, this might actually be a good thing. I think we all think when rates go down, prices are going to go up. So then where are you? Carolina. Carolina, you're muted.
So I appreciate the positiveness on this, but like who came up with this great idea? 50 years, like, because I was under the impression that interest rates were gonna drop. Obviously, we don't know that in November, December, and January. So is this like an alternative if rates go up or if rates go down? I'm just confused as to whose bright idea was this. Like it's really not a good idea for any homeowner to get this, but I get, you know, the positive spin on it. But like, I'm just really confused as to why somebody would pay double for a home with the interest for 50 years versus what?
Well, Carolina, let me take it. So when you have something like that, I like to take it to the extreme. Are you placing people in 30-year loans right now, even though 15-year loans are available? 15-year loans have better interest rates. You pay a lot less. Or you know what's fun about this? Let's add to the graph a 15-year loan at,
oh my gosh, I love this. I actually got this too. Oh, 5.5%.
because they're cheaper. That's what they are right now.
Okay.
So they're at 5. They're roughly at 5.5. As Paul said the other last 2 weeks ago, 15 years. They're all lower than his daily thing he sends out, which has 5-year loans at maybe 5.6 and 30 years at like 6.05 or something like that. And he said they're all in the 5. The 6, the one that says 6, that's a national average. He can get you in the 5s. Most brokers can. So while I'm getting a new thing there, that's a great. So what I'm saying is you could be placing people. Look at this one, the 15-year.
Okay.
But you're placing people in this one, and you know, Carolina, 40 years ago, people would say you're doing 30-year mortgages.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So, I mean, it's crazy. Who would that be good for? Nobody would want a 30-year mortgage. Look how much interest you pay on that.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So I mean, the 50-year, yeah, it's. You said you appreciate the positivity. So do I. I mean, they're trying. If somebody's trying something, it's a brilliant. Not everything's a brilliant idea for everybody. That's for sure. And this doesn't save you a whole ton. No, it doesn't. But if they can keep it at roughly the same, obviously, you know, the difference between, and that's exaggerated, the difference to 5.5% there. But their 15 years always cheaper than the 30-year, and the 30-year is going to be cheaper than the 50-year. I don't know what that difference is going to be, but they're not going to sell any of. When I say sell them, they're not going to loan any money on them if they're more than 3/10 of a point off of the 30 years, because the payment's going to be roughly the same. So in that case, why would any moron do it if the payment's the same? But if so, the only people that's going to help, Carolina, I don't know if you've ever had somebody $200 from qualifying in a monthly payment, or if you'd even know, or if a bank just says no, we can't qualify them.
Correct. Now, this chart, so I'm not, I like the visual, like Vivian said. Okay, so this 50 years, so I see this going down. What would be the difference for the 15-year in this example? 5.5%, but what would their savings be?
Well, after 10 years, look what their balance is. If they sell this house after 10 years, they'll only owe the mortgage company 175 grand.
Oh, where do you see that? I didn't see.
So that's the gold line, whatever color that is. Gold. Yeah, sorry, I'm colorblind. This first
Okay.
line here.
Ah,
They would only,
okay.
that's what your balance is. So that's what your payoff will be if you went to sell it.
Can you scroll your graph up because it's not showing us the bottom line? Yeah.
Ah,
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
10 years. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not showing. It doesn't show enough screen. 10 years. This gold one is at, well, it's gold on my screen. I don't know. You can't see it that well. It's at 175, 170, something like that. Whereas the 30-year, if you sell your house in 10 years, you're going to owe 330, 335, 340, whatever that is. I don't know if you can see that where my cursor is right there. That's in 10 years of the 30-year. And on the 50, you'll almost owe what you started with. You'll owe 390, 385 when you started at 400. So you've been paying $2,200 a month for 10 years and you still owe almost what you had in the house. Hopefully the house is appreciated, right?
oh my gosh, that is insane.
Well,
But
this
the
was
only thing is you do have to pay to live somewhere. So you could be renting for that same amount and not really getting any appreciation.
not getting any appreciation or this little 15 grand equity that you have, which
Right.
is only $1,500 a year over 10
Right.
years.
Right.
But it's better than something. So better than nothing. But as Gigi said in the chat, and Gigi has some great points in there, that's the advantage is to get today's, that's what I was trying to say also, today's home price and build equity, sell or refi in 7-8 years with 30-year cheaper rate. I think you refi in 2 years. And in refi, then you get the 30-year instead of at 6. The 30-year at 5.5% is going to show that you do a lot better. So even better than the 30-year at 6%, right? A lot better than the 30-year at 6%. So you're going to see that difference as well. And Brian, yes, you can always make extra payments and stuff like that. To accelerate.
My follow-up question to that is I'm just thinking, do you think that they're doing this or saying this or having a positive spin on this because they don't foresee interest rates going down?
No, this will go with the interest rates. Regardless, it'll go with the interest rate. So if the interest rates go down half a point, they'll all go down half a point, including the 15-year, right? So I just wanted to make the point that when 30-year mortgages came out, people thought that was insane too. And yes, that was before my time, but people thought that was insane too. 30 years. So yeah, it's only positive, Carolina, that it's an option. It's not, people aren't going to try to, lenders aren't going to try to stick you in these. Obviously the rates aren't as good. They'll only present this as an option if you're really close to qualifying and you can't qualify. So they're going to start saying, like they say now, like, oh, we can do it, but only FHA. Well, they're going to say we can do it, but only FHA and only 50 years because you don't even qualify for the FHA. I would have said no, but now only that. But the lender's going to also tell them, look, we can refi in a couple of years if the market, I don't make any promises, but if the interest rates are better, we'll refi in a few years. So I want to show you this graph. So look at this. This is the 10-year. So they stretch the graph out a little bit here. This is 10 years, and this is your balance is, what is that, 325-ish on the 30 at 5. And the 30 at 6, your balance was 335 after 10 years. This is the 10 here. With 335 after 10 years. So or maybe 340. you're going to make about 10 or 15 grand every 10 years by just having that 0.5% lower. So if you start out with the 50 for 2 years and you barely made a dent on anything, obviously, but you also have barely made a dent on the 30 year after 2 years, you really start, the difference starts to grow as time goes on, as you can see here. So if you only do that for 2 years and then you refinance at a 30 year, you're going to be, let's go to year 8 here. You're going to be way ahead, right? 8 years of this and 2 years of the other. You'll be way ahead of where you would be if you stayed with the 50, obviously. So just something to think about. Oh, sorry, it's here. It's here on this graph. You'll be way ahead of where you would have been 10 years into the 50, which is way up almost, 380. So that makes a $50,000 difference refinancing after 2 years. Okay. So that's something to consider. And anytime you go for a refinance, the lender's going to ask you, they should, if they're a good lender. But Paul talked about this a couple of weeks ago. They're going to ask you, how long are you going to be in the home? It's not worth doing if you're only going to be there, a couple of years beyond the refinance. Christina.
Hey, yeah, that's just kind of what I was thinking. What you're saying about the refinance, like maybe it's an option for folks to get their foot in the door and then they can refinance. Because I feel like the lenders are always offering like, we'll pay your closing costs if you refinance. There's always like some deal like that for around.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you're exactly right. I don't think it's, the end option for people, but maybe it could be an option for people.
It's almost a bridge loan, Christina, is the way I look at it. Almost like a bridge for people who can't qualify for the 30.
Right.
Income wise, it'll only be income wise. They're not going to take, I don't think they're going to put worse credit people in the 50. They're going to put income strugglers in the 50.
Right.
And look, guys, nobody is staying in this for 50 years. Nobody stays. Hardly anybody stays in one for 30 anymore. But nobody's staying in one for 50.
And my deal fell apart. But I know I was talking to Ryan about there's something that's happening that I had not heard about, where it's some sort of like, I think they call the program Equity First, and it's like a rent to own loan program through FHA, but it's backed by an Indian tribe in California. Like they have some deal with FHA, and there's higher closing costs. I think it's like 8% closing cost. I don't have all the details, but it's a way that people can get qualified, get into a home. They refinance it after 12 months, remove the tribe off of the deed, and then it's their property. So I think there's some creative options that are coming up now, just to make everybody aware that might be an option for people.
That sounds a lot like almost a bridge loan from the tribe. That's interesting.
Right. Yeah.
Because they're getting points up front. That's why the closing costs are higher. They're getting points up front and giving you a 12-month loan, pretty much. They're buying it from you for that, and their payments they're getting on that 12 months is your rent. That's interesting. And then you better buy it from them after 12 months, or they own it.
Yeah. And then they look at the inspection report. I think it's like a 45-day close versus a 30-day close, but they look at the inspection report, make sure they're okay with everything on that. It's the same process, FHA.
And they probably charge the buyer like some of those other people for anything that they want done.
Right.
That's great. It's great. It's only, guys, these things are only great because they add more options to you guys. That's it. I mean, right now, where back in 2021, 2022, we wouldn't have cared about that stuff. It wouldn't have been a thing. But now people are expecting appreciation from this market as rates are expected to lower. They're expecting prices to go up. I think we all are. And I don't necessarily mean that's a great thing that we're going to do a bunch more deals. I just think the prices are going to go up when interest rates go down. I think we're going to do more deals too. But I think that's probably why prices are going to go up. Yeah, Daryl.
Hey, good morning. Actually, I have a 40-year mortgage right now on one of my properties. I got the DSCR loan, and it's the first time I've ever had a 40-year mortgage. But I plan on paying it off, which I am, before 2 years, because it's appreciated. I bought it way below market. Now it's appreciated quite a bit. It was so easy to qualify. DSCR is so easy anyway. But the appraiser, of course, had to tell the lender what it would rent for, and it was coming in a little bit under what my payment was, so they had to adjust it to a 40-year.
That's
So it worked out for me. I said, oh, okay, I'll take it, because I knew I was going to pay it back within 2 years. So actually before that, I'm paying it back way before that. I've had it for like 3 months and I'm already under contract to sell it. So
right. And so Daryl, that could be a 100-year mortgage for all you care, because you're going to pay it off before then, right? And guys, for commercial, they do interest only loans too. So, which is a infinite there, you never pay those off, right? You pay them off when you pay them off, but you never, and they don't care because they're getting their interest every month. They don't care about the money. They'll keep you on there as a customer. They can sell that. People love to buy those. If you say interest only at 7.75% right now, people would eat them up, right? Backed by real estate. Absolutely. So that's what you guys got to keep that in mind. So all this 50-year, you can almost look at it as interest only, because you're not going to touch that principal barely until you see this line start dropping here. This little green line out here doesn't really start dropping until it hits maybe what year's that? That's year 30 is when it really starts dropping. Other than that, you've only paid off 30 years. It's funny. 30 years on this 50-year note, you've only paid off 100,000 of the 400. So while you're out of this one, your $300,000 you still owe on this one. Now, nobody's staying in that for 30 years, but you kind of get the idea for that. But that's a great point, Daryl, on that 40-year mortgage that they're already doing, but that's only on specialty properties. But that only reminds me of the interest only that I've had before on commercial properties. And you just interest only, and you never pay it down, right? But you don't stay in. Those are quick turnaround. Those loans typically have like a 5-year balloon or something like that. You got to finance out of them. Christina. Christina, you're on. If you're talking, you're on mute.
Okay. I should know this. I forget. Daryl, what documentation did they request for you for the DCR? Did they ask to see like tax returns, or I know they're just basing it on the rent, but I don't know.
Yeah, no tax returns. Pretty much rent. Well, they go by the rent and the what the appraiser say the rent's going to be, the future rent. I had to show, of course, I had the down payment. I had to show I had good credit. It was actually super simple. There was like nothing to it. I was surprised it was so simple. I love DSCR loans.
But you need about 25% down, right? 25% down, I think.
Yes, I think I put 25% down, correct.
Typically 20 to 25%, I think.
Yeah. It was super simple. There was like nothing to it whatsoever.
Thanks, Daryl.
Sure.
I'm probably about to do one of those on an investment property. Mostly because it's not selling. I'm just going to rent it, do a DSCR.
What's the difference, Ryan and Daryl, between that loan and a regular conventional?
For an investment property, it's a debt service repayment loan. So it's based only on, you don't have to qualify for it. Well, it says here, you have to pay some of your bills. You can't be it says they just run a credit report, but you don't have to do financial reports and all that kind of stuff. They don't care about you as much as they care about the property and it's being rented for that. They make sure that. So in my case, I have a property, and if it only will rent for, let's say, $2,000 a month or whatever, right? So if it only rents for $2,000 a month, they're only going to loan me the amount of money that $2,000 a month would pay for. So they'll only, let's say it was I want a $200,000 loan, but the $2,000 a month only covers a $170,000 loan. Then I'm only going to get $170,000, even if that's less. Even if the house is worth $300,000 or whatever, I think it's worth $300,000. Let's say they're not going to do 25% if the rent doesn't cover that. So it's what the rent covers, but never more than 75 or 80% of the value of the home.
And that includes the escrow amount, the taxes and insurance.
Taxes and insurance, right? So the whole loan, the whole thing, not just principal and interest, the whole thing.
Yep. Because my escrow was a lot. It was actually a lot on that one, but I got it to qualify, so everything's cool.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you, Daryl. Aisel.
Hi, Ryan. So my question is around, I think it's kind of a two-part question. The first one is, you've mentioned that, we kind of agree and all think that as interest rates go down, that will spur some of the pent-up demand and drive up prices. So similar thinking with these 50-year loans, the people who are kind of just, outside of the borderline to be able to qualify. Once we open up these 50-year loans, that lets some of that pent up demand rush in to try to get qualified. So what are your thoughts here on whether that in itself will drive up prices to an extent? Because we're, this savings of a couple $100, we're talking about, any competition then on pricing for a buyer trying to get in kind of eats that away.
Yeah, I think it'll affect the cheaper homes. These are going to be people fighting for their income restrictions. So I think it's going to be on the cheaper homes. I think it will push up values a little bit. I don't think this is going to be a super popular program unless they can make rates very similar to the 30-year.
Okay.
You guys might not even know how many people you have who barely don't qualify. The people that don't qualify, you don't even know probably how close they are, some of them. And, $250 might not sound like much, but that was 10% of that $2,400, that they're saving. That's something.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think this is going to affect, lakefront properties or oceanfront properties or anything super expensive. I think it's going to affect homes in the 250 to 400 maybe range.
Okay. That's helpful. The second,
maybe cheaper. I know there's still some cheaper out there. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And then the second part of my question is, do we know or anticipate that there might be certain restrictions with these type of loans? Like, we've made references to the possibility to refinance later, but do we have any signal of whether there will be terms where people are locked in from doing that for a given period of time? Anything along those lines?
I cannot imagine that would be a thing. Obviously for FHA and VA, they have the same rules that they have, but there won't be prepayment penalties or something like that. That's the whole point. The whole point is to get people in houses. So they're not going to make you lock into this 50-year thing. That's defeats the purpose. So I'm saying no, I don't know for a fact, but I'm saying the whole purpose of this is to get people in houses, and nobody's going to sign up for this and not be able to get out of it. Mm-hmm. And especially the government-backed ones. The government's, they're, believe it or not, trying to help. So it's giving it as an option, but it won't. They're not going to waste their time with this being an option if people can't get out of it for 5 years or something.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Vivian.
So as a seller, I've been offered a loan like the one Daryl's describing, and I don't have a lot of interest, a lot of knowledge about it. And I was very concerned because they were offering me 50% up front at list price and then 50% on this loan. But it sounded like it made me a party to their mortgage. So as a seller, I didn't see any advantage to it.
What do you mean a party to their mortgage?
Well, because they're still borrowing $200,000 for that time period, let's say 5 years. And
from you?
Go ahead.
Are they borrowing it from you? They're just not wanting to. They're just want to 5 years.
No. I offered them seller financing at much better terms. They wanted to give me half up front and then finance through this DSCR program or whatever. The other half.
Well, why do you care about that DSCR program? They just need to give you the money. I mean, you shouldn't be any party to that. You should be. It should just be a regular financing.
Yeah, you wouldn't be a seller financing at that point. They're getting a DSCR loan.
I know that. That's what I'm saying. They're giving me half up front, and then I'm getting that other half when they do what with it. I didn't understand the premise of what
they're financing your 400 and they're putting 200 down with the lender. You're going to get your 400 at closing. It's like they're getting a DSCR loan, right?
That's the way it should be.
Yeah.
I mean, that doesn't sound like that's what Vivian's seeing. 'Cause-
Right.
'cause it would just be, if I were buying your place like that, you wouldn't even know it. It would just be a financing.
Right. They'd be getting financing for you to buy your house, but they're
Just
getting a
regular-
DSCR loan with $200,000 down with, with the lender or you. Yeah.
The contract wouldn't look different, except it would be checked other instead of conventional or FHA-VA.
So
And
I'm not
actually-
at risk of being a party to their mortgage. That's what the part I didn't understand.
Nope.
What if they crash the house?
What they're going to close you out at closing.
Yeah, you've been done.
Okay.
You've been paid in full. Now it's
Okay,
with them and the
okay.
lender.
Okay, I didn't understand it, and my brother, the lawyer, and I talked about it, and we were like, we didn't get where I was getting the other money. It wasn't obvious to me that I was getting it all.
Well, that needs to be very clear in the
Okay.
contract that just says they should be clicking other on the financing and writing in DSCR if they want to do that. But it doesn't really, is that what all they did was click other in DSCR?
I'm gonna go back over the communications with them because it was two separate ones.
Well, just send them an email. Don't be afraid to
Yeah.
ask. Say, just to be clear, I'm walking away with $400,000, plus or minus at closing, right?
Yeah. Right,
Okay.
And
Okay.
get their mortgage guy who's doing their mortgage.
okay,
But if
okay,
it says DSCR, you have no part in that whatsoever. Any of us could buy it DSCR and give you, I mean, it's great. They're giving you half down, but it doesn't matter. None of that matters.
okay,
And they're
Okay.
what they're going to do. They don't even have to rent it first, just so you guys know, for DSCR, it doesn't have to be rented. They're going to do a rent appraisal for lack of a better term, a rent appraisal and a regular appraisal. So they're going to make sure they're not giving you more than 75 or 80% down or 80% loan to value. And then they're going to say also it'll rent for, whatever, $2,000 a month or whatever it is. And so we'll loan you up to that amount, including principal, PITI, principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. Any escrowable items.
And with the $200,000 down, that's going to be a super easy
Slam dunk.
qualification through DSCR. Super easy.
okay. I'm so glad you guys clarified for me because it wasn't clear to me and it made me very nervous. So I was like, I'm sorry, I don't know what to do with this. Okay, all right. I sold my last house as a contract for deed, and it took him a couple of years, but he did come up with the money, so I was able to walk away. So that I was familiar with.
Mm-hmm. Well, DSCR is great. I mean, it's fine to sell to. It doesn't affect you at all. Perfect.
Okay, thank you all so much.
You bet. It's a regular loan, just based on debt service, meaning the coverage debt service coverage ratio, I think is what it means. And it just makes sure that the debt service will be covered by the rent.
But
Right.
if you have a buyer, then they're getting the DSCR loan. The seller doesn't really know the ins and outs of it. They just know you're going to close and they're going to get their money, and the buyer's going to have, to put their 25% down. So, because you're kind of looking at it, I think, from both sides, maybe being the seller and the financing person. So, but technically they'd be coming to you with a loan, and you're going to get paid off at closing.
It's just a regular financing contingency, just with other,
Right.
instead of, it's not conventional. It's not
Right.
the JVA, but make sure that they put in the amount down, just so they know what they're doing. Make sure you're dealing with somebody who knows what they're doing. Make sure it says, 25% down or 20% down up top at the numbers. So,
Okay, and as far as appraised value, do they have to appraise now?
yes.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, they're gonna do an appraisal to make sure, and it doesn't really matter per se what it appraises for.
Right.
If your $400,000 house appraises for 380, they just can only borrow. Yours doesn't matter at all because they're putting 50% down. I mean, I say it doesn't matter as long as it's not a crazy appraisal, because they're putting 50% down. They're still going to do an appraisal to make sure that because they need it for their records, to make sure they're not loaning more than 75 or 80% on it.
And that the rent covers that payment.
Well, they're going to do a rent appraisal.
That's the key. Yeah.
We're going to do a rent appraisal. That's the biggest number, is
Yeah.
the rent appraisal. But that also should not be assuming that the place rents for, if it's $400,000 house, it should rent for $2,500 or something at least.
Right.
And their payment will be below that, ideally. hopefully, depending on the,
Yeah,
you know, the
that,
taxes
I'm
and
so
insurance.
glad Daryl brought it up because it made me realize, hey, I don't know what this is.
That's great. I wouldn't be afraid of it. If you want me to look at it, I can. I'm not an attorney. You have an attorney looking at it, but I would just contact the buyer and verify through there. All right. Any other questions before we go? Now's the time. Let's see if I have anything else for you guys. Holidays coming up. We will have a meeting next Wednesday. We will not the Wednesday of Thanksgiving, but we will next Wednesday, and we'll have something great for you guys. Thank you, everybody, for coming. I'll talk to you guys soon. Hopefully guys, it's something, it's only a positive because you can do it or not. And if it helps you sell one more home in the next 2 years, that's awesome, right? I mean, it's something. So at least people are trying to help a little bit. Tammy.
One more question. So I have this guy, you don't even bother responding to my email, Ryan, that I sent you. I figured it out. But anyway, if I sell multifamily, it is still just on a regular as is contract, correct? And we just get all the leases and things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How big a multifamily? 4, less than 4?
It might be 5 or more.
Okay.
Well, right now it is probably less than 4 right now, but he is looking at more and maybe
Okay.
even,
He's just buying a bunch of properties that are not packaged together already.
well, some were, but yeah, we're looking at triplexes, quads, and 5+.
Okay. So if you're buying properties that are somebody may be selling a portfolio, but they're not technically it's a condo here and a condo there and a house there or whatever, right?
Yes.
They've assembled a package, a portfolio. You do individual contracts. If they're not attached, you do individual contracts.
For each legal description, like the 4 condos that somebody
right,
be selling.
contingent
Yeah.
upon each other though, because you don't want to buy one and the guy backs out of the other 3. So you make them whatever side you're on, whichever side you're buyer or seller side, you make them all contingent upon the other. Okay. This closing is contingent upon the closing of
All 3 others.
whichever
buying 4.
ones, right? Whatever.
Yeah.
This plot, and you can do it by address and that.
Yeah.
And do it in additional terms. It's not a big deal.
Okay.
You can just do it as that. And make sure you do that though. That way you don't get stuck buying one.
I think on that legal description of the one I did send him, I'd have to go back and look. It almost seemed like a really long legal description. I wonder could they have put them all together? If they purchased them, could they have later on gone and put them all together as a clump or no?
They can.
They can or can't.
They can. It's sloppier like that. I don't like it like that, but they can.
Okay. And then, so anything that's attached, like a 1 unit that's got 3 or 5 in it, is all under the same legal. It's still an as-is contract, even if it's
Yeah,
5,
it can be an as-is contract. Yes.
5 and above.
Yes, they don't recommend that. Most lenders don't recommend that. So if they're borrowing money, check on it.
He would be getting a DSCR.
We'll check on it with the lender.
Okay.
That's a lot to put together. So check on it with the lender.
But if it's one building that has 5 units in it,
Still check with the lender.
what other contract would you use?
Commercial.
Okay.
But I think it'll be fine. I think I would do it on an as is, try it on an as is. But I would talk to the lender first. Say,
He
what
also
do you
got
think?
an attorney. I don't know.
I talk to the lender. That's who
Yeah.
I wouldn't worry as much about the attorney.
Okay.
And make sure they're legal. Make sure they all have their own electric meters and their own water meters. They can have only one water meter. That's fine, but make sure they each have their own electric meter.
Mhm.
That's how you make sure they're legal.
Do you, off the top of your head, no, I think it's residential. R2 zoning, is that multifamily?
It depends.
duplex.
Everything is different. Everybody's different. Every jurisdiction. I never say anything
That's
about-
Orange. That was Orange County, I believe.
It's normally duplex, R2, R3s, triplex.
Okay. This is a triplex, I think, that I was looking at. It's R2.
I don't know if this will know that or not. Probably will. Probably pull it up from somewhere. Yeah, multifamily, multi-unit residential. And here's more information than you wanted. Always more information than you wanted, but there you go.
This guy would love all that information, to be honest with you.
Well, there you go. Chat GPT will pull it right up for you.
Yeah.
All right. Juliana, look at this full table. Juliana, if you're speaking, I can't hear you, or if you looks like you.
Sorry. Yes, I was speaking.
Okay.
So I have, I guess a referral. I have a client. She's cash. She has cash, but she's working or she wants something in Davenport or Kissimmee area. Right now, I don't have the time to go all the way there all the time. So I'll rather refer her to someone that can give her 100% attention and help her out.
I can.
Yeah. Malvis said that.
Melvis? Okay, Melvis.
Davenport, but I'm sure there will be no shortage of takers here. But Malvis, connect with Juliana, please.
Yes.
Will do.
All
Okay.
right. Christina. Christina, if you're talking, you're muted. There you
It's
go.
a theme. It's the theme for today.
Yeah.
So I have a buyer that offered on one of my listings. I just was curious if you guys are seeing more of this. They're a brokerage out of Tampa, and I guess their transaction fee is like $700. And they're like really adamant wanting my seller to pay it. He doesn't want to pay it. I think it's kind of a silly thing to ask my seller for, but I mean, you know. I'm curious if you guys are seeing that. Are you seeing people asking you to pay these, with the market turn fee? The $700 is kind of high, but maybe that's just me.
I can tell you that I've seen a few of them lately, but not like it was when it was a seller's market back in. Every listing agent wanted you to pay their MLS fee, which is not a real thing. But I haven't seen that. I haven't heard you guys complain about it, and I usually would.
And then the other thing, I don't know if go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that's what I get. I get people asking me all the time, is this legal? That's what I used to get.
Yeah.
All the time. Is it legal that they're charging us this?
Yeah. Curious. I don't know if this is a good time to bring it up about those texts that I was getting yesterday. I got a little more info on that. Just wanted to make
Go ahead,
everybody.
and I'll tell you, Christina, I saw a guy posted on the
Yeah.
mastermind thing that he was getting it from the same bot or whatever.
So, I unfortunately, like I'll post a lot of videos of me doing property tours, and I do get, quite frankly, perverts that will, if you post that on social media like Instagram, they'll send you, the profiles will be like, like almost no followers. It's a brand new account that was just created. You can kind of tell that this is, not a real account. So always check that when you get a message on social media. But once they message you and say, hey, can you tell me about this property? You reply, they can send you a video. And sometimes, and you see the screenshot of it, and I just block them and delete them. So ladies, be careful of that. And then also I saw on social media where some other agents were getting requests where people actually were asking to FaceTime or Zoom for a buyer consult. And it's like a cold lead off Realtor or Zillow. And it was similar things. But I think I probably saw the same post that you're talking about. And I put it in the FRI agents group, but it's a very weird text message. And it's like, it starts out, Christina Rodham, right? I saw XYZ property on Zillow. I'm really interested in learning the next steps. And then on the line, it's like they're trying to get you on a Zoom. So I think what other people are saying is it's like, I think other people went farther with it. It's a phishing scam. So they're going to send you like a fake Zoom link, and then they're going to get your information. So I thought it was a pervert. It looks like it's most likely like a phishing scam. So just look at the post that I made yesterday, because all of the initial text messages are really similar to that. And then they try to get you to accept their Zoom link, and then they, somehow steal like your login information.
I think the phrase next steps is a giveaway too, kind of. It's kind of unnatural. It's kind of unnatural.
Nobody talks like that. The whole thing,
Yeah.
Nobody talks like that. Immediately, I'm like, unfortunately, then I'm just playing the game. Is this a pervert or a scammer? And I was just curious, like, well, what is the scam? So I saw the same post that Ryan saw a little bit later in the day. They're hitting everybody pretty hard, and I think it's just a phishing scam to steal your information.
I think we have our next game show, pervert or scammer.
That's a great one.
Yes, we have Juan on the line. Juan, pervert or scammer? Juan, how are you doing, buddy?
Hey guys, my phone is bringing my voice up, but can you guys hear me okay?
We
Yes.
have Juan. We have Juan on the line.
Juan the scammer. Yeah, go ahead. Juan.
I just wanted to give you just a tip with ChatGPT. These type of questions and stuff like that, you wanted to do research, I would suggest doing the think longer one, because ChatGPT uses a lot of memory. It's based a lot of memory. So if most counties in Florida might have R2 as multifamily, is that what it said here, multifamily?
It said it's multifamily, but it was said for Orange County, though.
Yeah, but if you do exactly the same question and put it with the thinking mode, it's going to go to the county, to the appraisal. It's going to do a little bit more, because I think R2 is single family or up to 4 units in Orange County. So just a tip, when you guys use ChatGPT, I like to use the thinking version when the answer is not too generic. Like, I mean, who's the president of the United States? Generic, because he's probably going to know from the get-go. But I have a feeling.
What's the thinking mode? What's that?
You see where in
They all have a speed
it
deeper.
says 5. You click the drop down, and it gives you another option to think a little bit more. That's all. Like right there, thinking. And if you want to test it, ask exactly the same question. I might be wrong, but I think I don't know why I think that R2 is a. But you have
I looked here because they're pulling off the Orange County. I recognize that orange there. They're pulling off the Orange County property site, which is good. But yeah, and then so you get. But I wanted to tell Tammy too, Juan, that's a great idea. You never want it to think less. And these aren't another thing you need to realize. They're not quite as bad as estimates, but AI is not always right.
No, I would have called the county anyway, but I was just curious if you knew off the top of your head. And I figured it was multifamily, just because it is multifamily that's there, but
once that makes all the sense in the world. But once you pull that, it can extract specific tables. So that's obviously going to be real stuff. And formatted and ready to print 2-page PDF, 1-pager with your brokerage branding and send you a shareable link. That's pretty valuable stuff. Saves you a lot of time, puts your branding on it, just looks more professional. It's pretty cool stuff. So that's the kind of thing that AI can save you guys too. But if it extracts specific tables, I would almost like to see that. Please show me a specific table. So we'll see what they pull. Malvis, you have a question?
I just wanted to tell Juliana I put my number on the chat. You can put your number in there so I can call you, because I don't have your number.
Yeah, and I could share these things with you guys too, but
thank you.
That's fine.
Hey Ryan, well, these things, I use ChatGPT a lot during the day, and I see that you type a lot. Have you tried something called WhisperFlow that you talk to the microphone and you type everything you just say?
I did it for the first one. Yeah, at the very top, I said compare the 30-year to the 50-year at 6%.
Oh, you were talking? Oh, okay.
No, I didn't do it on here. I did it before the class.
Got it.
That makes you so lazy, not lazy, but you get to where I don't even want to type. I'm just going to tell ChatGPT what I want to say, and I copy and paste everything now. And I'm so lazy about typing.
Yeah, same here.
It's such a spoiler.
Okay, so I saw where it pulled these from. This is legitimate Orange County information. I saw the site. You guys saw them all pop up there. OCPAFL and all those things. You guys, Public Works. Well, here you go. It can give you whatever you want. All right. But that's great. You can also go on the website and get it. But this will do a lot faster. Yes, Christina.
Hey, if I can plug some properties real quick.
Go ahead.
I have a 4-3. It's just under 3,000 square feet. We're listed. We're going to hit the market Thursday or Friday. It's in a really cute.
Christina, let me stop you right there.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm going to check out. I got to go, but I wanted to say
okay.
thank you to everybody. You guys, Christina, listen to Christina about her properties. You guys can share whatever you want. I'm going to leave it on.
I'll just post it in FR. I'll just post it in the Facebook.
No,
group. I don't want
just
to
go
keep
ahead and talk
everybody.
about it, Christina. Go ahead and talk about it. I'm just checking it out. You guys have fun. Have a great week. I'll see you next week. Thank you, everybody.